In our last chapter, Ananda discovered a profound truth through the captivating tale of father and son that trying to satisfy everyone is a never-ending battle. He learned that one must trust his own judgment and follow his own path. Today, with a burning curiosity, he sought more wisdom from his revered master. "Master," Ananda said with a respectful bow, "should we be careful about women before we fall in love?" The master's voice was calm and deliberate as he responded with a gentle smile. "Ananda, lucky are the ones who get real love from a woman. A man is sure to flourish if he is blessed with the right woman of love. But if not, then he will suffer a lot. A right wife will make his man stay focused on achieving his goals, for he works for his family and kids. But a wife who has more selfish needs will destroy a man's self-esteem and hunger to succeed." "Would you like to hear a story to understand what it is?" Master asked. "Yes, Master," Ananda replied eagerly, settling in with anticipation, ready to absorb the next piece of timeless wisdom from his master. Once upon a time, in a prosperous kingdom nestled at the edge of a sprawling, enchanted forest, there lived a woman named Leela. The kingdom was a place of grandeur and opulence, where golden spires kissed the sky and vibrant marketplaces buzzed with life. But amidst the splendor, one figure stood out above all. Leela, a woman whose beauty was said to rival that of the dawn itself. Leela's eyes sparkled like the clearest of sapphires, and her hair cascaded down in waves of ebony silk. Her beauty was the talk of the kingdom, drawing admiration and envy in equal measure. Yet, it wasn't her looks that truly set her apart. It was her mind, sharp as a blade and twice as dangerous. Leela possessed a cunning nature that was as captivating as it was perilous. From a young age, Leela had honed the art of manipulation. She could twist situations and people to her advantage with a mere flicker of her eyelashes or a well-timed smile. Her words were like honey, sweet and irresistible, drawing people into her web before they even realized they were caught. Whether it was winning the favor of the kingdom's most influential nobles or bending the will of merchants to her desires, Leela moved through society with the grace of a dancer and the precision of a predator. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky blazed with hues of crimson and gold, Leela made her way to the grand palace. The palace, a marvel of architecture with its towering marble columns and expansive gardens, was hosting a lavish banquet attended by the kingdom's elite. Leela's entrance was nothing short of spectacular, her presence causing a ripple of whispers and awestruck glances. She glided through the room, her gown shimmering like moonlight on water, and every step she took seemed to command attention. Within all the men was Arjun, a noble, handsome man in his prime, known for his wisdom, wealth, hard-working nature, and strong character. He too couldn't help but find his gaze inexorably drawn to her. Leela noticed, of course, and with a coy smile, she approached him. "Good evening, Lord Arjun," she purred, her voice like velvet. "I've heard much about your generosity and wisdom. You're quite fancied among the young unmarried women, isn't it?" Arjun, taken aback by her directness and charm, found himself ensnared by her allure. They talked for hours, Leela skillfully weaving a narrative that painted her as a woman of virtue and grace. She spoke of her supposed struggles and aspirations, each word carefully chosen to resonate with Arjun's noble heart. Days turned into weeks, and Leela's bond with Arjun deepened. He felt he had a new purpose in life. Now he was working doubly hard for Leela as they made plans to get married soon and raise a family. Leela too visited him often, bringing small tokens of affection and sharing stories that showcased her intelligence and compassion. Arjun was completely blinded by her attention and affection towards him, and failed to see the subtle manipulations that underpinned their interactions. They became a couple inseparable by heart and soul. Meanwhile, Leela's reputation as a virtuous woman spread through the kingdom. Many admired her apparent selflessness and the nobleman's unwavering support of her. One day, Leela arrived at Arjun's house, her face etched with feigned distress. "My lord," she began, her voice quivering, "my family is in desperate need. We are on the brink of losing everything. I don't know where else to turn." She paused, her gaze dropping to the floor, letting a single tear escape down her cheek. The room seemed to hold its breath, her words hanging heavy in the air. Arjun, sitting by the hearth with a book in hand, looked up startled by the raw emotion in her voice. His heart, already softened by his growing affection for her, ached at the sight of her apparent distress. He quickly rose, closing the distance between them in a few strides, his eyes filled with concern and compassion. "Leela, what has happened?" he asked, his voice gentle but urgent. He reached out to take her hands, which trembled slightly in his firm grip. "Tell me everything." Leela took a deep breath, her shoulders shaking as if under an unbearable burden. She began to weave her tale of woe, her voice rising and falling in dramatic cadences that painted a picture of utter despair. "My father has fallen ill," she said, her eyes widening with sorrow. "The creditors are at our door, demanding payments we cannot make. Our lands, our home, everything is at risk." Arjun's brow furrowed with concern. He could feel his protective instincts flaring up, every word she spoke tightening his resolve to help. The weight of her words settled heavily on Arjun's shoulders. He could see the desperation in her eyes and hear the sincerity in her voice. Every fiber of his being wanted to believe her, to come to her aid and be her savior. His mind raced, considering the fortune he possessed and the ways he could use it to alleviate her suffering. "How much do you need?" he asked, his voice steady but filled with an underlying urgency. Leela hesitated, as if reluctant to name a price, though in truth she had planned this moment meticulously. "A considerable sum, my lord," she whispered, her voice breaking slightly for effect. 5,000 gold pieces." Arjun did not flinch. He nodded solemnly, releasing her hands and turning towards his desk. He opened a drawer and pulled out a heavy pouch of coins, counting them swiftly before placing them into her hands. "Take this, Leela. It's yours. Use it to save your family." Leela accepted the pouch, her fingers brushing against his in a moment of feigned intimacy. She looked up at him, her eyes wide with gratitude. "Thank you, Arjun. You have no idea what this means to us. She faltered, as if overcome by emotion, before quickly regaining her composure. "We will never forget your kindness." As she left his mansion, the heavy pouch hidden beneath her cloak, a sly smile played at the corners of her lips. She had played her part flawlessly, her manipulation going undetected. Little did Arjun know, he had become trapped in Leela's intricate web, a pawn in her game of deceit and greed. Even after this incident, Leela's ambitions were far from satisfied. She continued to weave her web, fabricating crises and playing on Arjun's emotions for different needs. Then came the night of the grand palace banquet, where the king had invited all the notable people in his kingdom to join him in his celebration of a great victory in war. Arjun, as he was invited, asked Leela to join him at the grand celebration. There was dance, music, good food, and wine everywhere, and all the people inside the palace were in a very pompous mood. As the music swelled and the courtiers danced, suddenly a man out of nowhere appeared and publicly accused Leela of deceit and completely ruining him. Though he was dressed very well, he was struggling to stay on his 2 feet and was looking highly intoxicated. The accusation was bold, and the tension in the room was palpable. Gasps echoed through the hall as all eyes turned to Leela, awaiting her reaction. With the grace of a seasoned actress, Leela feigned shock and sorrow, her eyes welling with tears as she spoke passionately about her love for Arjun and her commitment to him. She painted herself as the victim of baseless slander, and the court, swayed by her emotional display, turned against her accuser. "These accusations are unfounded," she cried, her tears flowing freely. "I have only ever sought to bring happiness to those I care about." Arjun, moved by Leela's apparent vulnerability, defended her fiercely before the king's court. His voice thundered with indignation, and the king, swayed by Arjun's passionate plea, ordered the accuser to be arrested immediately. The court murmured in approval, convinced of Leela's innocence and Arjun's unwavering devotion. But Leela's downfall was written in the stars. That very night, Arjun discovered a letter hidden among her belongings. His heart pounded as he unfolded the delicate parchment. The words etched upon it revealed a heartbreaking tale of deceit and treachery from Leela's other lover, detailing his own broken heart and the manipulation he had suffered at her hands. The realization struck Arjun like a lightning bolt, illuminating the depths of his disillusionment. The love that had once filled his heart was replaced by a torrent of anger and sorrow. His hands trembled, not with fear, but with the rage of a man betrayed. Confronting Leela, Arjun demanded the truth. His voice was a storm, his eyes fierce with hurt and betrayal. Leela's facade crumbled under his gaze, and with it, her carefully constructed empire of lies. She fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face, trying once more to weave her web of manipulation. She pleaded, professed her undying love, but Arjun's eyes had been opened. He saw her for what she truly was, a master manipulator who plays with hearts. Years passed. Leela's beauty, once her greatest weapon, faded with time. Her cunning nature no longer served her as it once had, and the attentions of men, once so easily captivated, dwindled away. She had wasted her prime years playing manipulation games, and now it was too late to secure a good husband or a stable future. She became a cautionary tale, whispered among the women of the kingdom, a living reminder of the destructive power of deceit. The master paused, his eyes meeting Ananda's. Remember, Ananda, true power lies in integrity and honesty between a man and a woman. Manipulation from either side may bring short-term gains, but it ultimately leads to long-term suffering. Let Leela's story be a lesson to you. Choose a woman of high value. His voice softened, ensuring the weight of his words settled in their hearts. Ananda, sitting in contemplative silence, the master's words echoing in their minds. The tale of Leela was not just a story of deceit, but a powerful lesson in the importance of living a life of good and a purposeful life, a lesson they would carry with them forever. As the story ends here, I hope you liked this video and found value in this story. Please give it a thumbs up, share it with your loved ones, and hit that subscribe button to join our community. Your engagement means the world to us and helps us continue to provide enriching content. Please ensure to hit the bell icon too, so that you never miss an inspiring story or valuable lesson from us. Thank you and God bless.